Hey, welcome everyone. My name is JR. I'm the founder and owner of Business Leaders Network, and our whole mission is to build a community of emotionally intelligent servant leaders. And we love to do that through education, visibility, and community. And one way that we help our members gain visibility inside of our community and outside of our community is through doing these small interviews where we learn more about who they are, what they do, and how they make an impact in the world. And so today we have Russell, and he's out of LA, but we're going to find out more about what he's doing and the things that he's doing to make an impact in the world. So, Russell, thank you so much for being on here today.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Absolutely. So, the first question I always like to ask people is tell us more about who you are, what you do, and what impact are you doing in the world?
Oh, this is an interesting question because I'm at a time of transition in my life. So up until the middle of last year, well, up until about 5 years ago, my main business was fiction books. So I wrote all the books behind you see behind me or edited them or um and then a few years ago I started a company with my ex-business partner called Writer MBA. So I moved more into education, and we had a conference and we did all sorts of stuff. And then that company fell apart the middle of last year. And so now I have a company called Happitalist, which is about optimizing for joy, getting all parties to a hell yes, and just like making money doing it. So most of I think like happiness research and such, there's a lot of people who do very motivational, like say a lot of motivational stuff, but they don't give you actual process. So it's like, do what you love. And it's like, okay, but like how, why, how do I make money doing that? And I'm actually very good at showing people how to make money and making money on my weird fiction books and such. So Capitalist is really about taking your mission-driven work and making money from it in a way that resonates with you instead of what the universe usually does is tell you to find a pain point and then solve it, which just doesn't work for like, well, maybe not 99. Most humans that are in business do not want to find a pain point and sell it. They want to learn how to sell whatever weird thing that they want to do. And up until this point, they really have been told, well, go screw. But like, really, that is where most people want to own a bake shop on Main Street. They don't want to sell hedge fund analysis to stockbrokers, you know?
Yeah. I love that. Well, why don't you share one based off of what you're doing now? Why don't you share more about who you or one of your best client success stories? So, where were they at when they started with you, and what did you help them achieve?
Sure. So most of my stuff recently has been with books and courses, so I don't do a lot of one-on-ones, so this is new for me. Um, but I can tell you a little bit about some of our people from our membership.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so here is what generally happens when you're a mission-based person. One of a couple of things happens, and probably all of them. Um, you get really good at making a thing. Like, let's take this tarot deck or a book. You're really good at making that book. For a long time, you're not very good. But eventually you get very good, and people are like, wow, this is great. I would buy this thing. And then you're like, great. Then do that. Give me $20 for this book. And they're like, maybe later. You know, like, and so you reach this point where you're like, I get it. I was in this novice place. And I've been learning, and I was perfectly happy to not make any money while I was learning. But like now I've made a bunch of books and like I know what I'm doing. Why can I not make money doing this? The example that I use is a bake shop. So um in order to own a bake shop, you have to be really good at baking and really good at owning a shop. If you want to bake without owning a shop, then you have a hobby, and that's great. If you want to shop and uh, then you don't care what you sell, like there's a lot easier things to sell than baked goods. So, like, sell something else. But if you want to own a bake shop, you've got to both make great baked goods and know how to sell those baked goods. And that's where I think most people come to me, they are exhausted by trying all of these things. And they're disillusioned by the fact that marketing people have always told them, just find a pain point. And they go, I make muffins, dude. There's literally no pain point for muffins. No one has ever needed a muffin in the history of the universe of muffins. Muffins are a luxury good. So like, are you telling me there's no way to make money on this thing? And frankly, that is exactly what most marketing people will tell you. Just like, well, I don't know, go sell market and go sell like to corporate events or like to retreats or something. And they're like, I don't want to own a catering company. I want to own a bake shop on Main Street. And so they get really exhausted and frustrated and they try all of these things and none of them work because they're made for the general business advice, which is find a pain point that people with money will pay you to solve. And it's like, not everyone that has money wants muffins. Lots of people just have like $5 and they want a tin of muffins and they don't know where to go to get muffins. And again, it is really easy to make $1 million if you don't care what you sell. Because all you have to do is say, what's a big thing? AI in this world? What are people talking about on Quora? Oh, I'm just going to sell a course on that or like get 10 clients at $10,000 a month. And all these companies that make $1 billion, like they'll give me that amount of money because it's sneezing to them. And I only have to be very good to like make that amount of money if I don't care. But the minute you care about what you sell, the entire mechanism of marketing breaks down for most people. And so when they come to me, first, we show them that they're not crazy or bad and like this stuff is hard and it's not supposed to work for people like us. But there are all sorts of ways to make it work for people like us, which is doing something that I call soul resonance selling, which is something that some weird thing in your soul resonates with some weird thing in someone else's soul and you connect together over that. And so and when you have soul resonance with somebody else, like they don't go anywhere, they stay forever. So the problem with all of the marketing is like no one cares who teaches them how to make AI. That person, if that person goes away, some other person will teach them how to make AI. It's completely interchangeable. But when you have soul resonance with someone, they stay forever. They will move. They're more likely to move with you if you stop owning a bake shop and want to open a bookstore. Like they'll follow you, they'll trust you. Like you become a tastemaker in their life. And that is an underappreciated resource that I can tell you, knowing a lot of people with a lot of money, not one of them who I've ever met has any creativity and imagination to get somebody to actually care about what they sell unless that thing is already in the news. Sorry, if anyone who's listening is like that, I'm sure you're fabulous. Not you though, just the ones I've met, not any of you.
No, that's awesome. I love the mindset on there and just really taking people to along on the journey with you. So that's really cool. Why don't you share more about the type of people that you want to work with, and then what is the main thing that you want to help them achieve?
Sure. So, my main thing is called Take them to hell yeah, which is the idea that you make a business that is a hell yeah for you. That is a hell yeah for your customer, that for the right customer that you want to serve. And then is a hell yeah for the ecosystem as well. So everyone is really happy. And it sounds all this is where all of the stuff becomes practical because it's all about finding the unique axis that you can sell in that nobody can compete with you, that everyone kind of knows is a problem, but nobody will say. So I'll give you another example. I have a friend who works in HR, and she's like, I want to not do my job anymore. I want to do a different job. And I'm like, okay, what do you want to do? And she's like, well, I don't know. I kind of want to like do this. I want to deal with this systems because like the real problem is that none of these vendors talk to each other.
Hmm.
And like really, like it's been 20 years she's been working in this field, and like none of them talk to each other. All of them are, and like she's like, I want to build systems to make all of these things talk to each other easier, but like no one will pay me to do that. And I'm like, so what you're saying is You sit down with your HR director and you tell them this exact problem that literally every HR director knows. And you're like, so what I do is I solve this problem that like we all have, but like no one knows that we have and like no one talks about. In fact, we hide it. And this is the real difference between that pain point selling. I call it third order problem solving, which is the problem you actually have. But no one wants the entire industry doesn't want you to solve this third order problem because everyone makes money solving first order problems. If you actually put out the fire, then no one can, you can't, like, why does the fire department need to exist? The fire department is encouraged to, not the real fire department, but like people are encouraged for the fire to keep coming back because that's how they make money. And but like really, we all know that the problem isn't the problem. Like you need to not just turn off the gas line, you need to like fix the hose and the entire system because it's been corroded from 50 years of misuse. And every single person knows that, but nobody says that that's the thing. And because no one says that that's the thing, that's the problem, and everyone hides it, everyone goes, no one will pay me to solve that problem. But like everyone, if you go into a meeting and you say, look, we all know that vendors suck, not because they suck, but because all of them have different platforms. All of them are talking to each other differently, and they're not even talking to each other. And like probably everyone who's listening to this is like, yes, it is very frustrating that like my finance software doesn't talk to this thing without like an AI plugin. And even then it like doesn't work. Why does QuickBooks books not work? Like, why does all the transactions not come over to QuickBooks? It's 2026. But like that, and yet that is a problem. And like we all know it's a problem. And yeah, we're just like, well, that's how QuickBooks works. But like it doesn't have to be how QuickBooks works. You could actually solve this real problem in the world that is interesting to you. For the bake shop, I'm like, the problem that a bake shop solves is like the world sucks. It just like sucks. And like we all need joy and wonder in our life. And like that is like having that muffin that like looks like the face of Jabba the Hutt or whatever, like that is a delightful thing. And like that is not the thing that makes the world go round, but is the thing that makes the world worth living in. And like that is the real important problem isn't like how do you get gas to go from one place to another? It's like how do you make the world worth living for somebody else? How do you make the world better so that people want to live in it and that they are joy? And no one will say that's the real problem because how do you make money on joy? You don't, because when people are joyful, they don't spend money. They just enjoy the thing that's happening. They spend money when they are miserable. So, like, so anyway, those are the third order problems that Happitalist helps you solve, and what we mean when we say optimize for joy. Optimizing for joy isn't like rainbows and sunshine. It's when the joyful activities have two things in common. One, you like them. And two, they have a positive feedback loop. So the bigger the positive feedback loop, the more you enjoy it. And so if you like an activity and it is a positive feedback loop, it means there's probably a really good business idea there. Probably means that like you'll be able to do it. And what does Emily Sundberg says? You can't beat anyone who's doing it out of joy. And like that is the truth. If you are doing joyful activities and running a business built on joyful practices, it means definitionally that you are getting a positive feedback loop from it.
I love that. It's so powerful. Great message. Well, how can people get in touch with you?
I just Happitalist.com. It's like capitalist, but with an H.
Very good. It's capitalist.com. There you go, guys. If this resonates with you and if you want to get in touch with Russell, I'd love for you to connect with him. Go to capitalist.com.
Happitalist.com.
Happitalist.com. So happitalist.com. Connect with them and see where that conversation goes. Until next time, Simplify.